So, good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's fantastic to see a really good turnout today, and we've got a mix of familiar faces and a few brand new ones, which is always exciting for us. So, welcome to all of you who are joining us for the first time. And today we are kicking off what is a double header, 2 webinars back to back with a short break in between. So this first session, this is all about the JD Edwards Release 26 applications updates, and going to go through the practical and operational enhancements that make a real difference to the people doing the work every day. Then at midday, we'll be back for our second session covering the Release 26 tools updates. This is where things get particularly interesting from an automation and digital transformation perspective. So do stick around for that one if you can. Now, before I hand over, a quick word about Ndevr for those of you who are new to us. We're a specialist JDE consultancy, and we've got the largest team of very highly skilled JDE consultants in Australia and New Zealand. We support organisations across the full life cycle, so it's implementations, upgrades, managed services and support, skilled resources for projects, training, CNC development, cloud migrations, process automation. Basically, if it touches JD Edwards, we do it. So a warm welcome to our new guests, and we're very glad you're here today, and we hope today is genuinely useful for you. Now, to the main event. Our presenter today, she needs little introduction to most of you, but for the benefit of our newer guests, Anne Thiele is one of the most experienced and respected JD Edwards specialists in the region. She has more than 30 years of working with JDE under her belt, and she is a highly sought-after consultant and trainer. She knows this product inside out, and she gives an excellent presentation, so you're in very good hands. A couple of quick housekeeping notes. We are recording today's session, and everyone who's registered will receive a link to the recording. But please check your spam filter. The Zoho platform's emails are definitely getting caught there for some of us. Questions are very welcome. Anne's going to address them at the end of her presentation. And without further ado, I'm just going to hand things over to her now.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Sasha. The first topic I want to cover is the sustainability framework. So Oracle's sustainability framework provides a platform, for those that don't know it, for organizations to measure their environmental, social, and economic impacts. With Release 26, Oracle has expanded the sustainability framework quite a lot, actually. I'm not going to go into detail here. I'm not aware of any of our customers actually using it yet. But if you want to explore the sustainability framework further, please give us a call, let us know, and we'll be glad to give you a hand on it. Now, there have been some enhancements to the supply chain management. In fact, there are 3 enhancements specifically in supply chain management at the moment. The first one is a tolerance checking on foreign amounts in the Voucher Match program. Quite simply, it allows you to check for tolerance on foreign amounts. It's enabled via a processing option on P4314, the Voucher Match program. Couldn't be more simple than that. The second enhancement in supply chain management is the ability to reprint invoices if partially shipped, for example, sales orders that have been placed on hold. Again, it's enabled via a processing option on the invoice print program of 42565, and you can either allow to print held orders or not. Quite straightforward. The third one in the supply chain is the enhanced delegation process for purchase order approvals. Anybody who is running procurement in JD Edwards will be really pleased to see this enhancement. What it is that instead of just delegating approval like we've always had to do in JDE and then remember who you delegated it to and then delegate back again, if you remember, it was really very basic. And it just moved everything across and moved it back without any record or anything. What we've got now is we've got an approval delegation with effective and expiry dates for starters. And secondly, we can, as we've always been able to do, we can delegate specific approval rights, specific order types, and specific combinations of them individually with different expiry and effective dates as we need to. And also, there's history here, so it actually records the history of what happened in our with our delegations and so on. I think this is a good one for us to actually go and have a look at. I'm really excited about this. So if we go and take a look at PO approval delegation, we've got a straightforward screen, and you can see that we can look at all delegations, we look at active delegations, or we can take a look at what's expired. So if we look here, we've got 3 active ones at the moment. All of my orders that are under approval route MPAIT1 with an order type of OD are going to Michelle, and all of my orders with an approval route of MPAIT OP are going to Mandy. And again, with the SP approval route, they're also going to Mandy. We set them up quite straightforward. We click the add button. It says, who are you delegating to? Well, we can delegate, perhaps, let's delegate the OPs to, forgot to put the approval route in. So let's say from July, I'm going on holiday. So from the 1st of the 7th, 26 to I'm going on long service leave. So let's go to the 30th of the 9th, 26, and Michelle will have to do my work for me during that time. And it's as simple as that. It's not yet in the active, but if I look in the all, I will see what's delegated to Michelle. I will see that approval delegation record there. Now, from what I can see, and I've played with this a little bit, and I must confess I haven't played with it to any great extent, but from what I can see, once this becomes active, doesn't seem to be moving the open approvals. New approvals will go to the new person, of course, the new ones, but the open ones, those that are still waiting for approval, it seems to leave them with the original approver, but allow the delegated approver to approve them. So I want to play with it a little bit more before I put my head on a block on that, but that's how it appears to work to me. In any case, we can now manage the approvals. And if we take a look, this I really like in the delegation history. Obviously, I haven't done much. This is a test system. But if let me just go and check all delegations. It tells me what order was delegated, who the original approver was, who the delegated approver was, what the delegated time was, etc., etc. So we've got all the history that we need for auditors, for segregation of duty, for whatever you need to actually manage delegations effectively. I'm sure a lot of you are very excited about that. I'm really very, very pleased with this enhancement. Okay, so that is the delegation of the approval delegation screen. A couple of enhancements specifically in procurement. The first one is this converting the PO approval mobile progressive web application. I don't know how many of you are aware, but there is one mobile application that Oracle provide out of the box, and it is the purchase order approval application. And this enhancement, it's simply a technical enhancement to bring it in line with the Visual Builder Cloud and so on. And the other one here is the there've been more additions to the enterprise process modeler. If you've been keeping up to date with what's going on in release 26, you'll know that there've been a lot of improvements with the process modeler. We can model the requisitions, we can model purchase orders, we can model the sales orders, and it can show us and give us analytics and everything based on what's going on in our system, so we can see where there are potential bottlenecks and all the rest of it. And I think it was in the previous release 25, I think it was, where they introduced where you could join the requisitions to the purchase order and have them flowing through the processes, so we could model the whole thing together. Well, now what Oracle have done is they've added to that approvals, so we can see what's going from requisition to purchase order, through approvals, to the receipts, to the voucher match, the whole process. One can now map that process and analyze the entire process within the enterprise process modeler. So that's pretty neat. Some other enhancements within release 26 in the applications. The first one is this sales order management. Within sales order management, if you're using RMA, the return material authorization process, then you now have the ability to decide where you retrieve the locations from. And surprise, surprise, it's enabled via a processing option on the return material authorizations revisions application. So that processing option down here, number 5, if you leave it as it is, then it will pick up the location from the sales order, from the sales ledger. And if you put a 1 in here, it will pick up the location from the RMA defaults. Oh, in the wrong place. The next one is a real estate management enhancement. Again, well, it's actually, they put it under real estate management, but it's actually lessee accounting. It's the option to account for GRV, guaranteed residual value, on the right of use asset, as well as on the in the schedules, as well as the lease liability. It is enabled via a processing option. If you leave it as it is, then it's only available on the lease liability. In other words, nothing changes. But if you put a 1 in this processing option on the lease master maintenance, then the GRV will affect both the lease liability and the right of use asset calculations, leaving you with the residual value on the right of use asset. In transportation, there is an enhancement. It is again a technical enhancement, simply bringing the transportation management integration to OTM in line for OTM Cloud Release 21C. And then under financials, Oracle have delivered a new report. This is quite a handy report from an auditing point of view, actually. And because what it does is it shows you, it's got the invoice details for, it's in AR, of course. It's got the invoice details first of all, and then underneath it, it has the receipt details, including your the payment, the discounts, chargebacks, write-offs, and so you've got the whole picture of what happened with that invoice in one place. Right, that's all the enhancements around the applications at this stage. But what I'd like to now spend a little bit of time on is just to show you some of what's already there and what we've been doing with what's already within JD Edwards. In terms of Orchestrator and workflows. So, for example, one of the things, I don't know how many of you have seen the Orchestrator, but it's changed quite a lot recently, and there's been a lot of expansion. And one of the things that we have, that we've been helping our customers with is the to automate escalations. For example, this is just one example, okay? Basically what happens here is this customer needed to streamline their rent increases. Now, because the orchestrator can be called from external APIs, it's quite handy for automating this sort of thing. So the first thing this orchestration does is it goes out to the website. I forget exactly which one it is. One of them, I forget now, the website that it goes to grab the latest CPI rates, and it updates the tables in JD Edwards with those CPI rates. And then it goes and checks the escalation table itself for the, especially for new leases, and it updates the escalation table accordingly. Then it runs the escalation process, and then it lets the relative user know, the person responsible know that the escalations have been run and they can be checked and so on. It was much more complex when we first did this orchestration. We did it in a previous release, I think around about release 23 or 24, and it was a very complex orchestration. But we managed to simplify it quite a lot by means of these logic extensions. They are brilliant within the orchestrator. Another thing that we've done, Orchestrator is becoming more and more the tool of choice for integrations. And that's really because they can use AAIs, because they work with REST AAIs and so on. So you can use it for simple flat file inputs, or you can use it for fully automated integrations like this one. This is actually fully automated. Firstly, in the property development system, when a budget is changed or updated, the integration software calls an orchestration in JD Edwards that automatically updates the budgets within JD Edwards. Secondly, at regular intervals, I think if I remember rightly, it's once a month, but you can also trigger it manually. The integration software requests the AP information from JD Edwards. JD Edwards then goes to AP, accounts payable, gathers all the stuff together, including the payment information and everything, and sends it back to the property development software. So that way, the two systems are kept in sync all the time, which is really quite a bonus, because before the introduction of this orchestration, this particular customer was really always, couldn't really trust either system because weren't sure which one was right and which one was not right. So really very handy. Another one of our clients needed to streamline their billing. They have a lot of runs. They actually do weekly billing runs, and those were quite tedious and time consuming. Because they use direct debits, they need to get that run through and into the bank as soon as possible, because that direct debit, there's a window that they're allowed to hit the account with the direct debit. So there were time pressures on it, and if they found issues, then there were delays. The stuff was running slowly during the day, and they had all sorts of frustrations with this, the way that they were doing it. So what we did here was we streamlined them. It was so easy with the orchestrator. We created an orchestration that ran the billing in proof mode. This is this first orchestration here. And it sent the results, the output, to the clock, the billing clock. And then we put it on a schedule. So it runs at 2 o'clock in the morning, for example, every billing day. And so that when the clock gets into the office, the proof billing is already in their email box, in their inbox, and they can start immediately taking a look at it. If they review it, and very often they do review it and they find that there is no issue, if they review it and they find there's no issue, there is a button on the email that they just press, and that triggers the final billing run below it, which then, of course, generates everything and updates the billing dates, you'll see there's an update billing dates. There's quite a process in there that ensures that they don't run the billing more than they should, etc., etc. So there's a bit of logic in here, is what I'm probably saying. But if there is an issue, then they can fix the issue and still come back to the email and click the button to run it in final. So it really streamlined the process beautifully for them. I mentioned that integration is Oracle, at least Orchestrator is very popular from an integrating point of view. And one of the big integrations that we did a little while ago was integrating to third-party procurement software. And it involved a number of orchestrations, actually. I'm only showing one of them here, but it involved a number of orchestrations. There's supplier and contract master information coming into JD Edwards from the procurement software. There's delegation of authority information coming from JD Edwards flowing back into the procurement software, plus some more stuff. That sounds pretty simple, but as with most integrations, the devil is in the detail. And as you can see from this one orchestration here, there were quite a lot of steps and there was a fair amount of logic involved in this one. It's working beautifully, and we've got this full integration between the procurement software and JD Edwards. I just want to mention that the Orchestrator also is the enabler for AI within JD Edwards. So we use the Orchestrator to enable AI like document understanding and some analysis tools like Gen AI and things like that into JD Edwards. So this is the tool that enables that. All right, well, that's all that I've got to say today. Do we have any questions, Sasha? Anything?
Yes.
Expand on?
Thank you, Anne. We do have a couple of questions. Now, both of these came through around about the purchase order approval enhanced delegation process area. So
that was going to bring up some questions because everybody's been waiting for this one, as I say. Mm-hmm.
The first one, the first question says, assume you need apps and not just tools for P43281.
Yes, so the apps, yes, you do need apps and not just tools from an update. But if I'm not mistaken, if you've got the tools update done, or even if you don't, I'm not actually exactly sure how far you have to go with the tools. But each enhancement, each application enhancement is its own ESU. So you should be able to just load that one ESU. Very simple process if you just want that and nothing else. Yeah, it's not a full apps update that you need.
Okay. Now, the next question.
I'm talking like a techie. I'm not really a techie, but that's my understanding.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Someone says they've observed that it neither moved existing orders to the new delegate nor changed the actual approval route to the delegate for the period of the delegation. Is that so?
Yes, it does appear to be so. As I said, I've still got some testing to do there, but it does appear to be so. Yes. I can show you, I can show you more of what I found there if you like. If everyone's got time, or there are more questions first.
There is one more question that's come through. It says that does JDE have procurement function, and why is integration Sorry, folks. Does JD Edwards have procurement function? Why is integration required?
Oh, okay. Which one was this? Where was this brought up? And this last
just come through, just in that last section.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, JD Edwards does have procurement, but there are some of our customers have actually. They've decided that they want some extended functionality that may be only available in third-party procurement. Most of our customers use JD Edwards procurement. only. But this particular procurement software, it's specialist procurement software, and it has additional functionality that JD Edwards doesn't offer, or that we can only get with modifications and so on. And so they have chosen to go, they have some specialist needs in procurement, and that's why they've gone for third party. But yes, JD Edwards has a very good, actually, procurement software, and a lot of our customers use it. In fact, most of them use it within JD Edwards.
Okay. Do you want to go back and show?
Let me show what I've been playing with here. Okay, so if I go into, let me start by, as you can see on the delegation, I am Approver 1002. Let me see the active delegations, and we can see that Mandy is allowed to approve these two. I've delegated authority to Mandy at the moment for these two approval rights for audit type OP. Okay, so if I go, let me go into orders awaiting approval, and you'll see that I have all of these. And these guys are approval right SP and MPAIT, but they're all still under my approver, even though Mandy has been delegated to approve these purchase orders. So if I then, let me close that, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go, and of course, not all of your users can do this, but me being all powerful within I always pick the wrong one, me being all powerful within our JD Edwards, I can go and change who I am. So I'm changing myself to Michelle. So if I go and have a look now, 1003 is Michelle, I know this. So I'm changed myself to Michelle. Okay, and now when I go into orders awaiting approval, you'll see I am Michelle. And Michelle, and Michelle has no orders there. He can go and look at mine because he has the ability to do this, because I've given him the authority to do it. He can see my orders here. If I pick one of them, and I go to form, do you see Michelle doesn't have the ability to approve my order because I haven't delegated this to him. I've delegated these ones to Mandy, who is 1004. So if I go back into the user profile and I make myself Mandy for the time being, and I go again into orders awaiting approval, here I am as Mandy. Mandy has none. But here she can see all of mine. And if I again pick one of these and I click on form, I have the ability to approve or reject, because my delegation has been, or my orders have been, I have delegated the approval for these orders to Mandy. So from what I can tell, as I say, I haven't done extensive testing here, but from what I can tell, this doesn't change the approver, but it does give the what is it called? Delegatee? What is he called? That person that I've delegated to, it gives them the ability to do the approval. Yeah. So, yeah. With the Orchestrator, even if it's not available, we could institute a very simple orchestration that could actually change them to Mandy's approver to, so that this person becomes Mandy as well. That is quite possible with the Orchestrator to do that. But at the moment, it seems that this is the way that it's working. I hope that answers your question.
We actually had another question come through. It says, do new orders go to the delegated approver?
I don't know. I haven't tried. I would assume so, but I don't know. Shall we try? Oh, but yeah, now who's shall we try it? Let's try it. Why not? Okay, so
one more. So who gets the, you might be able to answer this at the same time. So who gets the approval messages or emails during the delegation period?
Again, I don't know. I haven't managed to test it that far.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who gets. Well, the approval message is already gone. So when you approve it, the requester or reject it, the requester will get the email message. But, you know, if the order's already created, I wouldn't imagine that there's a new approval message that goes to the person who has been delegated to, because the approval message is already gone. And there's certainly nothing in the work center. So I'm Mandy here, and there is nothing here to say that there's an approval waiting for her. I have not seen that. So again, that is something one could quickly and easily do if it's not there. But what really needs to happen is need to do a little bit more testing on this still.
Is that something we could come back to people with more answers on?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I knew this one was going to evoke some responses because everybody's been waiting for this.
All right. Well, thank you, Anne. And thank you to everyone who's submitted their questions today. But that about brings us to the end of our first session, unless there's anything else that anyone has to ask. We hope this has been a useful look at what Release 26 delivers on the application side. And if there's any further questions or conversations you want to have, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You should all have my personal email in your inboxes, which you can use, or you could contact Anne directly, and also Andrew Janke or Tom Devine. Now, we're just going to take a short break, and we will be back at 12 noon for our second webinar, which is the JD Edwards Release 26 Tools, Smarter Automation, Better UX, and the Road to AI, which is very exciting. Anne's going to be covering the tools updates, including configurable widgets, the new enterprise automation dashboard, Orchestrator improvements, the web-based scheduler, and a live demonstration of OCI AI in action. So it's well worth sticking around for if you can. There is supposed to be a little URL or scan, what do you call those things? Those things that would, the little barcode things.
A QR code.
A QR code. There's supposed to be one of those on your screen at the moment in case you wanted to sign up for the next webinar and you're not already on it. If you do want to sign up for the next webinar, and thank you, yes, QR code. If you do want to sign up for the next webinar, just email me back directly and I'll get you sorted out in the next few minutes. With that, we'll see you again at 12 o'clock.